Hello everyone and welcome to another video from GW2. This will not be in-game footage. Unfortunately, what I recorded of my profession videos, let's just say the quality was a bit horrible. So what I've decided to do is I didn't want to skip over it because I had some content that I wanted to show you. So I looked up a build creator and I found Guild Wars 2 builds. Check out guildwars2builds.org for those. And I'm going to try and show you the builds off of the skills and the trades that you can find here. So let's just jump right into it. This build is for the Thief, and it uses Sword Pistol along with Shortbow. And also it uses the heal skill Hide in Shadows, the utility skill that's actually not the right utility skill, there it is. Shadow Step is the second utility, the first utility skill. Then you use 3 Venoms. The first one is Ice Drake Venom, which applies Chill. Second one is Devourer Venom, which applies Immobilize. And the last one is your Elite, which is Basilisk Venom. And that one applies, well, it turns your foe to stone, which essentially is a stun. But because it's not listed as a stun, they can't, like, your foes cannot use stun breakers to get out of this one, which is what makes it so strong. Which is why it's worth the elite slot. The way it is played is you initiate using Infiltrator Strike on your Sword Pistol set to Shadow Step toward your foe. But before you do that, you of course have your Venoms up. Now, the way I did it was I always used Basilisk Venom combined with Ice Drake Venom, and for the next spike I always popped Devourer Venom. So I alternated between those two Venoms, that's, like, you could say, because if you pop all of your Venoms at the same time, you'll have one, like, unavoidable spike or more avoidable spike, but you also, like, you can't spike as often. And the thing is, the Chill Venom, Ice Drake Venom, along with Basilisk is pretty much a deadlock because you can't break out of Basilisk Venom, and the snare lasts long enough afterwards. And the Immobilize Venom is just so strong because, like, Immobilize, the fact is that it reapplies every hit, so that's why it's so strong, because they'll remove the one, but it gets reapplied. So Infiltrate is in. This one will do a hit. It will apply your Venoms, and you follow that up with a Pistol Whip. Now, Pistol Whip is very similar to the Warrior skill Flurry or the Great Sword 2 skill, 100 Blades, where you repeatedly slash in front of you, but you can't move because it's channeling. Now, Pistol Whip actually has a stun. It is, as it was in game, it was a quarter second, not a full second. So you hit them with a pistol and then you start slashing, and that pistol is a quarter second stun, which is great for an interrupt, but it's not enough to keep them in place. That's why you have the Venoms, and then you slash, and if your target survived your initial spike, then you just repeat it with Pistol Whip again. You have enough initiative for that, and if he, like, survive that one, you just use your chain skill until he's dead. And if it comes to be that your spike failed and you're getting, like, you can't get them down in time, just use your Shadow Return on your Infiltrator Strike, which is you return to the original location, you break stuns, so you can use that even though you're stunned, disabled, knocked down, all of that. And what it doesn't show here, but it was in game, it also removed a condition. So it can remove like immobilize, something like that, or any snare, which is great. It's really great. So apart from that, the reason why you take Shortbow is because of Infiltrator's arrow, as well as Disabling shots. These two give you so much mobility. Disabling shot makes you leap away from your target, but you can also use it without a target, which will just leap you like backwards. But if you turn your back to where you want to face, you can also use it to go forward. So, it also applies cripple, so it can be used. Great skill for kiting. You can use a few of those, like 2 of those in a row, and nothing can catch you ever. Infiltrator's arrow is very similar, only that it's more used to cross gaps, like the or well, not necessarily gaps, but you can also use it on a clock tower. Like the wooden constructions around that, you can teleport from the ground up to those, and instantly breaking line of sight, and it's really powerful. And you can also use it down, so if you well, you might even just want to jump, but you never know. So those two combined, great mobility, as well as there's another thing, which is Trick Shot and Cluster Bomb. Trick Shot, what I've noticed is, yeah, your Venoms have a number of charges, like multiple attacks, 2 attacks, 1 attack. Now, Trick Shot actually, when you fire it once, it bounces off multiple targets, but it only uses up 1 of those charges. So you can AoE poison, or you can apply your Venoms to a lot of foes together and only use one charge, which is insanely strong. You just and you can snare groups with that pretty easily. And if you use your immobilized Venom, you hit them once and then you wait 3 seconds, you hit them again. They're all snared for like 6 seconds, which is great. Now, Cluster Bomb is the same concept, because when you detonate it, it does an AoE. Like, it shoots shrapnel all over the place, and each of those has your Venoms, and only use it, like, 1 skill usage is only 1 charge of your Venoms, so same thing. Also, Cluster Bomb is best used in melee range if you want to DPS with it, because it will, if you use it on top of someone and you detonate it on top of someone, they will take the explosion as well as all the shrapnel, which means they'll take a lot of more hits, as well as have, like, each of those hits has a chance to crit and deal more crit damage. That's why it's good. That's basically the main idea of the build. Then you have Headshots, which is a interrupt. You can use it for heals or channels. It's a 1 second daze, but I say interrupt because it's not really enough to disable. It costs too much to repeat. Like Powder Shot is an AoE blind field that blinds 4 times in a row every second, and actually drops underneath your feet. Like, you can't place it anywhere. No matter where you're standing, the place is there. It's quite good if a melee is trying to hit you. You just use this. They can't do anything because the blinds applied so much. So as long as you stand in a field, you can pretty much negate any melee trying to kill you. As well as if you just kill a warrior, you want to blind them first before you try to stomp, because they have that knockdown, and I'm sure that other professions have something similar. I just don't know. So they have that knockdown. So if you blind them with this field, like, it doesn't matter how much they hit, they get re-blinded for long enough, because your stomp doesn't take as long as the field. So for the rest, you don't use stealth at all, really. The only stealth is your heal, and you usually use that stealth to get away, not to actually engage. So it's, both of them are pretty decent. Tactical Strike is a hit that blinds, but if you hit from behind, it dazes instead. But you already have a daze from Headshot. And Surprise Shot is an immobilize, but you already have your Venom, so it's not necessarily needed. Last skill, Shocking Gas. Fire an arrow that fills the target area with a poisonous cloud. I rarely use that, and if I use it, it was just like on a capture point before I engaged, or like just toss something there. Poison is good, but you don't really need to use the initiative on this skill. You'd rather use Infiltrators plus Pistol Whip because that's your damage. That's your main swords. Now the last thing I didn't mention is Shadow Step. Well, the reason I use Shadow Step and not any of the other ones is this one gives you more mobility. There's actually in game it worked similar to Infiltrators. You also had return, meaning that you and didn't even return. It also removed 3 conditions if you returned, and that's basically why, because it was a condition clean, it was a stun breaker, and it was a teleport. So all in one, that was the one I preferred the most. So that concludes all of the skills. Let me just quickly put some more music on repeat. Okay, the traits. 25 in Deadly Arts, which gives you 250 power and 25% condition duration. 25 critical strikes, which gives you 250 precision and 25 crit damage. And 20 in Shadow Arts, which gives you 200 toughness and 200 healing. Now, the minor traits, Serpent Touch, scaling applies poison. It's not that useful, but you need it's for the major traits that you take this. Lotus Poison weakens targets whenever you poison them. You don't poison that often, so that one's also, I don't want to say wasted, but it's not really that noticeable. Now this one is exposed weaknesses, deal extra damage if your target has a condition. I don't know how much it is, but it's either 5 or 10%, because all of those kind of traits are 5 or 10%. Now, as your major trait, you take Residual Venom. Applied Venoms last 1 extra strike. Now, if you go back to your Venoms, you will notice that this one, I believe it had 5 charges, so that will become 6. And this one had 2, which will become 3. And this is actually the reason why you do that. Your Basilisk Venom only had 1 charge. Now it has 2, which means that you will apply 2 seconds of unremovable stun. That's why it's so good. That's why you take that trait. Quick Venoms reduces the cooldown on Venom utilities. Basically, you need your Venoms to be able to complete your Pistol Whip, and that's why you get this one, so you can do it more often. Now to critical strikes, you have Keen Observer, 5% crit chance when health is over 90%. You should be able to engage one-on-one and stay above 90% health for your first spike, because you will come in with a blink that nobody, like a shadow step, and nobody will see coming. You will deadlock them for 2 seconds as well as chill them, and your Pistol Whip restuns for a quarter second, so you should be able to do at least 1 full Pistol Whip without them ever hitting you. So that's useful for that. Your second minor trait is Opportunist. Critical hits have 20% chance to restore 1 initiative. That one is also really great because Pistol Whip is a lot of multiple hits. A lot of hits, rather. So you're bound to get at least, like, statistically, you get 2 initiative back, and this one costs you 5. So that's why it's worth it. Your next is First Strikes. Initiative improves critical damage. This actually gives you 1% crit damage for every point of initiative you still have left. So that means your first skills will always deal more crit damage. So your first burst is more powerful. And that's pretty great. It's like 12% more damage base. That's a lot. That's really a lot. As for majors, combo crit chance. Let me just scroll down. Combo skills have increased chance to crit. That's your Pistol Whip. As I believe it's 5%, because all of these traits have 5% on them, on other professions as well. And the second one is Executioner. Deal extra damage when your target is below 25%. You're running a glass cannon spec, so it's very rare that you don't bring them below 25% health, unless they're like beyond tanks, like the strongest tanks out there. And even so, this is the most fitting trait because you can actually notice the increase in damage quite easy. Like it's quite significant, so that's why you take it. The other choices are not that great for this build. Shadow Arts. This perk, Last Refuge, creates a Shadow Refuge when health reaches 25. This one got changed. You actually just get Blinding Powder, which is a utility skill. Blinding Powder blinds foes in the target area and grants stealth to nearby allies. So it got changed, but it's actually, I find it better because you just stealth you and your allies as well as you blind foes. So it's a great proc because it often saves you. You drop below 25 and you automatically have an ability to escape. Next, Melt with Shadows. Your stealth skills last 1 second longer. It's not that great. It means that the stealth from your heal lasts 1 second longer as well as your proc, but you don't have any other stealth sources. But it's mainly for the major traits, which is Leeching Venoms. Your Venoms steal life when activated. This means that whenever one of your Venom doses is used, you gain health. And that health is basically a 360, I believe, per charge. And if you, it's like 2 from this, 3 from that, and I believe this one was 6 in total. Or it's 5 in total. With this trait, of course, 1 extra charge. So it's at least 10 or 11 times 360. It's like nearly 4k. It's either 3,600 or 4k. So that's significant. This allows you to run full glass cannon gear and still survive, like stay in the fight long enough to spike. Last one is Venomous Aura. Now this one is amazing. When you use your Venom skill, you apply the effect to nearby allies as well. So if this wasn't enough for you, just go with an ally and give them all your Venoms as well. So instead of 2 seconds of in-removal stun, if you chain it with your ally, that's 4 seconds of in-removal stun. You can pretty much immobilize 2 targets for like 9 seconds. Well, not 9, because they don't overlap. It's like if you straight attack after another, you just reapply the same immobilize. And chill, this one actually does stack in duration, so you can apply so much chill. So, basic concept is this guy is really great as a solo, because you can just jump on someone who's alone and burst them out. But you're also very great at supporting your allies due to Venoms and that you can give them to your allies. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Leeching Venom's trait actually applies to those Venoms as well, which makes them insanely great. So that was the build. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I'm again deeply disappointed that I couldn't do this with like actual footage. I could have shown you the spike, how it worked, but I guess that's for the next event. If I get in, I sure as hell hope I do. So yeah, I will be doing more of these videos. I will try to shorten them because this one is again taking way too long. So thank you all for watching and hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.